Okay, in this video we are going to take a look at a for loop and see what that does. And so we'll move on to the first slide. A for loop is the shorthand version of a definite or counter-controlled while loop, which is what we've already learned how to do. We have the 5 elements to it, and now we're going to see what a for loop does, and it really is a shorthand version of it. The for loop has the same components as a definite or counter-controlled while loop, but just in a different arrangement, and so that's what we're going to look at right now. In the definite while loop, we have the 5 elements or the control variable that has been declared and assigned. You have the while statement, which is where the control variable is going to be tested. And then you have the opening brace of the while loop. You have the closing brace of the while loop. And you have the line of code that alters or changes the control variable. So those 5 elements are still going to be involved in the for loop. So as we look at this, we see how here's where the control variable is declared and assigned. In the for loop, we're just going to declare it. So right here we're just declaring the for loop, or the the control variable. And then in the inside the for statement, in the parentheses, we're going to take where this has been assigned, and instead we're going to put that assignment right here in the for loop, in the inside the parentheses. So in the for statement. The next thing is you have the while. In the while loop, you have the place where the variable is tested. So you have the Boolean expression. Well, we're going to have that as well. And so it's going to be the second part of this, or second argument, so to speak, within the parentheses. Notice that we're using semicolons after each part. So that's there. Then we have the place where the control variable is altered. And so that's going to also be inside the parentheses. So you can see it's the same thing, only it's different arrangement. And then of course you have the 2 braces, just like the definite while loop. So now we're going to start at the top line of code right here, and we're going to follow the code in order and see what it does. So first of all, it declares the variable int, the variable count, and so now we have the memory location that has the name count to it. The next thing, we're going to go now to the for loop, which is right here, or the for statement, and you're going to look at the first argument. And here it says we're going to assign the control variable to be 1. And so what happens in the memory location is it assigns 1 to the count variable. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is it's going to move on here to the count, or to the Boolean expression. And so is count is 1, is count less than 4? Yes, it is. So since that's true, now we're going to jump into the loop. So we're skipping the third argument for now. We're going to go right to the loop from here. So we're going to go 3. This says we're going to print hello and then the count number, and the count is of course 1. So it's going to say hello count. So here's the screen over here, and it prints hello 1. I think I'm missing the colon. Okay, then after it's done here, we go to we're at the end of the loop, so to speak, or the closing brace. So now we're going to go back to the for statement. But what we're going to do is this is now where we're going to hit the third argument. And so now the counter or the count or the control variable will now be altered. And so it's going to add 1 because of the plus 1. So now, down here, the 1 is going to become 2. And then we're going to take this 2, and we're going to go over to see if, we're going to go to the test now, just like we did over in the while loop. And we're going to see if 2 is less than 4, and yes it is. And so we're going to go over here to inside the loop and print hello and the value of count, which is now 2. And so there we go. So now here we are right here at 6. The next thing it's going to do, it's going to go back up to here, and it's going to increase the count variable. So it's going to become 3. So now count is 3, and so the question is, now we're going to come back up here again and go, okay, is 3 less than 4? Well, yes it is. So now we're going to jump back in the loop. And then we're printing hello and the value of count. And the count, of course, is 3. So it's going to say hello 3. So now that we're done here with this print statement, this is now we have the end of the loop, ending brace there. So we're going to go back up here. And the count is going to be altered. It becomes 4. So now count is 4. So now we're going to go over here and see, is 4 less than 4? Well, no it's not. So now, because it's now false, we're going to kick out of the loop and go outside the loop and do another statement, which here it is. It says ain't no more. And so it prints that, and we're done. So that's a for loop. It's just like the definite while loop. It's just arranged differently. And so that's how it works.